Welcome back, viewers, to this, our discussion on the budget with specific reference to agriculture. I'm Paul Busharizi, your host. With me in the studio to discuss the issue of the day is Dr. John Bahana, who is our resident agricultural scientist, the Honorable Victoria Sechitoreko, former agriculture minister, and Dr. Emma Naluyima, who set me in my place and said I'm old and I'm keeping it till too late to learn these things of agriculture. I have taken her words to heart. But Dr. Bahana, you kind of interjected when the doctor was speaking about this armyworm, or what we think is armyworm. And you know something about this that we don't know. What's going on? Why are we? She says this thing has been here all along. Why is it now a crisis?
Yeah, the armyworm, as we know it, actually is the one that you would know, or anyone of us that had experience with, is called the African armyworm. Now, the current outbreak is caused by fall armyworm. Fall armyworm appeared in Uganda sometime last year, and I think appeared in Zambia, Zimbabwe, and the rest of Southern Africa about beginning of this year. Now, it is a native of America, Central America and North America. It is not our native species. How it crossed over and is now bothering us is a question of, of research. It is possible in very many ways. It could even have been a resident insect, because insects have got capacity to respond to weather changes and they suddenly become pests. So it is possible we may have had it here, but it was never a very serious pest. Now, the possibility that Dr. Naluyima may have encountered a different species is there. And in fact, that may have been called Chiropatelus, which will bore through the funnel of maize until it goes into the stem and disappears inside the stem. And in fact, I think they used to call it, in Uganda, it's called Ndiwurira Ngabatema. All right? So it will pupate inside the maize until it becomes mature and flies away, until it lays eggs again to restart the cycle. The armyworm is different. The mother or the female will come and lay hundreds of eggs, up to 1,000 eggs, in all sorts of crop environment. Not necessarily maize. Maize is the African armyworm. So this lays eggs anywhere. And you can imagine 1,000, all of them hatching out at the same time. It's huge, particularly when your crop is still very young. And this fall armyworm goes into the funnels of the maize and eats it up. So you don't even notice that you have been attacked by the pest until it is very late, when the worms are already big. By that time, it's very late. Now, what the forecasting system does, and this is something that we found and we learned when we were at Makerere, is that there were light traps. Eventually, we evolved into pheromone traps. And these will attract flying mature moths. These mature moths, which will be trapped, will give you an indication of the arrival of mature moths. Yes. And by correlating the rainfall patterns and the arrival of these moths, you can tell
that this time
actually to a very high degree of accuracy that an outbreak is going to occur in this particular area. In which case, you now move your logistics, including the pesticides, training of the farmers, training of extension personnel in that particular locality. So you can add the journalists.
That system was there previously?
It was absolutely there. That's what we found.
So those pheromone traps or light traps, they're movable, or?
It's very movable. The pheromone traps are slightly bigger than this. So the point is that if you plan and you are able to forecast, then you use much less money. You focus your little resources. This knee-jerk reaction of allocating billions of shillings to armyworm control, we don't even know the chemicals. We are going to be spraying the chemicals all over the place. And then next thing, European Union is going to say, we cannot import your stuff.
Yeah. But talking about this knee-jerk reaction, first of all, I thought this armyworm have a lifespan. Yeah. Yes. So if you delay, it becomes immaterial anyway. They'll have died or moved on, metamorphosized to the next level of their development.
Now that's the danger. Because you are dealing with this fall armyworm whose host range, in other words, where they will eat, is wide. So whether there is maize or there are bananas or coffee, they will survive, okay? And we have to think of long-term solutions. Because today they are on maize, tomorrow they'll be on something else. And they are going to breed in all sorts of localities, and then you get huge outbreaks again.
I thought it's seasonal. I thought
No.
you can expect them at around certain time.
In the US, it is seasonal because they have winter.
Yes.
But here where there is no winter, like he said, it is like Christmas every day.
Oh, okay. That's shocking. But I mean, the whole issue of agriculture. I thought I was only going to come.
So maybe budgetary allocation
is the list of our worries. There's a lot of preparation that has to come before we even allocate resources. But I want to come to you, Dr. Nalwima, and just maybe a bit more. I was intrigued by your story about your school. What happens at your school? I mean, there's schools all over the place. What's different? Do your kids talking back to their parents?
No, this is normal school. This is normal school. And actually, it's called Math, Science, and Technology. So we teach kids normal math, science, SST, everything, but core curricular activities are farming, among others. And then a child, because we believe there's a saying, a Catholic tells you, give me your child before they are 10 and they would die Catholics. So what we are trying to do, if these kids have, first of all, the interest, the agronomist, like an example is that people go to school, they do agriculture, agronomy, and then many of them are actually not practicing. They don't even want to know.
You just have the degree stuck on the wall somewhere.
And they were government funded. So it's like a waste. Now, but if this child comes, keeps moving and understanding this, everything about agriculture, because why agriculture? It's the backbone, just like you're saying, 3%, 70%. So if 70% of Ugandans are fed by agriculture and live on agriculture, so why are we even...
Why is it even a discussion at all?
So we decided that if every child gets to know, we are not saying that they should be agriculturalists, but they should understand where food comes from. They should understand that even when they've maybe done engineering, they know, oh, this is what happens. Now we are talking about, yes, irrigation technology. How will they know, like if he's an engineer, he has gone into engineering, and how will he know that maybe this is what this kind of machine is what I'm supposed to do to maybe hull or to do whatever, okay? So that is why we decided that, okay, fine, let's teach these children normal stuff, English, SST. But then we have a bias on agriculture. Of course, being a best farmer, then I want everyone, because at the end of the day, much as we are here, after we are going to leave whatever time we leave, all of us are going to have, you're going to give us a tea break. And we are going to have maybe a banana, we're going to have something, and then when we go home, this is what we are going to have. So for the rich people, they have about 5 meals. All that is food.
Absolutely.
Even the poor is going to struggle to make sure they have 1 meal, and it's food, it's agriculture. So this school teaches kids how to farm. Basics, actually, it's basics that they learn. Yeah, they know how, they have a hole, there's drip irrigation, different technologies, because we are in the .com world, they need to understand that even when I get out of here, this is what I'm going to do. And surprisingly, these kids advise their parents. Again, we have a child who told the father that cut this banana plantation, and the father is about 50 years, and he's like, you're joking. How 8-year-old tell me to cut the banana plantation? And when the father later came to the school, to the farm, to my farm, the following day, went and cut the banana plantation and did something well.
Fantastic.
So now these are going to be small extension workers while we are waiting upon the government to really allocate money to the extension workers. And they're going to change the villages as well, because when they go home, they're going to change their parents, and then they're going to change the village, like in the places where they go to.
Fantastic. But I suspect that you don't have very many children from the villages in your school.
No, we do, because there are people. I don't like developing other people while the village nearby is not developed. So they're there.
Fantastic. Talking about hose, we had an uproar a few years ago when the president, in his campaigns, you know, I think he donated hose, and everyone was up in arms. But when I went and did a search, the Ministry of Agriculture had done a research which shows that there are 4 million agricultural households, but there are only 3.5 million hose. So 500,000 agricultural households, I don't know how they are getting along, you know, it's crazy. So the hose are still necessary. But I want to come back to you, the Honorable Victoria Sechitoloko. You talked about human resource. Yeah. I was just wondering loudly a while back, is it possible that also in all this, that maybe the people in the ministry are not even agriculturalists?
No. The way the Public Service Commission is structured, it is very difficult for one to go into the ministry when you are not an agriculturalist. What is possible, of course, is for you to become minister, but if you are going to be a technical person, that is out. What I know, though, is that because this important ministry is under public service, they wait in the queue with everybody. So as we talk now, most people in the Ministry of Agriculture are in acting capacity. Acting commissioner, acting deputy commissioner, acting. Those actings really take away one's confidence. So these people have got their education and they are there. But for me, I want us to utilize every available brain, available human resource in Uganda. Because for people like John, I know he's retired, but he's one of the few entomologists we have. But because the ministry does not have the luxury of hiring this one, because like now, when we saw this armyworm, the first thing we should have done is put out a call to say, entomologists, all of you come back. We didn't. Now, see where we are. So for me, this human resource thing had better be looked at, but I want to support what she has just said. In my view, if we had the whole cabinet which understands, appreciates agriculture, when the budget is being written, they would be the ones to actually say, this is our mother, this is our backbone, we cannot do this. Even if we work on the roads and the energy, because like we are talking about the oil from Masindi, and then we turn around and complain that the experts in Masindi are importing the food they are eating. If we in Uganda are not prioritizing production of food in order to feed the oil people, then others have already seen the business and are producing and are exporting here. So in my view, given the generosity of God, giving us all this water, giving us all these wonderful, brilliant people, let us do the only thing that we can do and do it well, which is agriculture, and feed everybody.
It seems all very obvious, even to me who doesn't do any agriculture, but we shall come back to probably unbundle that in the final segment of this show.